Go go Power Rangers, Wolfpack, Cat's back with another surprise tier list. So I ended up having some spare time, so I decided to do another tier list, but thankfully this time we're doing a short one. Hopefully, but we'll see what the comment section have to say about this one. So I wanted to do a ranking on all the Yellow Rangers. Yeah, it is weird we're not starting off with red, but hey, I wanted to do this since everybody loves the Pink Ranger. The Pink Ranger's the hot chick, the Pink Ranger's the cool one, but the Yellow Ranger deserves a lot of credit because we had a lot of underrated yellows. I see Wolf Entertainment. Hey CK6789, glad you could make it. Yeah, doing a fun short tier list this time. Long story short, I have trying to decide on a video topic right now. Had some spare time doing some shorts here and there, but I wanted to do another Power Rangers related ranking, but I didn't want to have to sit through binge watching a whole nother 12 series to talk about characters I know mostly everything about. I see Wolf Entertainment Cat, I click. Thanks, CK, glad you made it. Yeah, doing a surprise tier list stream, doing an afternoon one. Thankfully, we found a shorter topic. Hopefully, we'll see if this one reaches that 12-hour mark. But I'm going to be doing a tier list on all the Yellow Rangers. Yellow Ranger I always thought was way hotter than the Pink Ranger, except when they were guys. I am straight. So yeah, I love a lot of Yellow Rangers on here. So I wanted to talk about them and have talks with you Power Ranger fans out there and see what your thoughts are on all the great and not so great Yellow Rangers on this list. How about Blue Rangers next? Blue is my favorite color. Okay, maybe Ira, but I wanted to start off with yellow because I've been talking a lot about how much I love Yellow Rangers lately. So if this is your first ever tier list, we'll go over the basics. I'm going to be ranking all these characters who ever donned the Yellow Ranger mantle, ranking them from best to worst. Up top we have S tier. These are perfect, the 10 out of 10s, the greatest Yellow Rangers ever, who did a great honor for Power Rangers history, and we will be seeing quite a few up here. Then next we have A. These ones, good, not great. They did their job, they fulfilled their role, they had a great lead as a Yellow Ranger, however they were missing that extra spark that made them perfect. Then we have B. These ones are the okay, the middling, the mid-tier, the ones that had some good moments but also some bad moments, namely Yellow Rangers who were kind of underdeveloped or flat characters who didn't outclass the superior Yellows or were kind of the forgettable face among their Ranger teams. Then down here in C we have weak. These ones, lame ducks. They kind of forgettable, nothing awful, but nothing you'd go bragging about or saying they were the greatest Yellow ever. Then we have D, these ones duds, the weak ones, the lazy ones, the ones that did not do the Yellow Mantle justice. However, we also have unknown, these are Yellows I just don't recognize. We might see a few faces down here because I kind of stopped watching at SPD. I picked the shows back up much later. I watched RPM all the way through, but we might see some of the Netflix or more recent ones from the later Nickelodeon era. Pretty much everyone who's a hardcore Ranger fan tapped out after Megaforce. So yeah, we'll be seeing some Yellows down here. Then at rock bottom, absolute trash. The worst Yellow Rangers ever, and it might sadden some people, but we will see at least one or two down here. God-awful, horrible, bad Rangers, period. Not just bad for the Yellow Mantle, but maybe the worst Rangers ever. Like, we're talking Justin, Coda, and Troy bad. These ones, you get it, 0 out of 10 Yellows. Yellow Ranger, huh? Sounds like fun. Hey, like Psycho Yellow's here too. Yep, she made it on here. I actually added her. So I did not make this tier list. There might be one Yellow Ranger missing, but considering I haven't watched the more recent Power Ranger shows, we got most of the faces we all know and recognize. Yeah, Ira wants blue. I know TJ will make it higher as a blue than as a red. Hi there, sorry I'm late. You're not late, Miss Kitty. You made it on time. Nobody started yet, so yeah, you get the idea. We're going to be ranking them all up here. We have all the Yellow Rangers from classic Trini to god-awful reboot Trini. Got all of them. They're all here. Even the guy Yellow Rangers. Yes, they did kind of mix it up. Yellow got was allowed to have males carry on the Yellow Ranger mantle, while some women got to be Blue Rangers. Yeah, Dustin was the first male Yellow, and then we got Tori as the first girl Blue, and everybody loves Tori. What's your opinion on the original Power Rangers? I think it's fun. Not one of my favorite Ranger shows. Yeah, I know, blasphemy, because it's the original. The original, it is a classic. It started everything. It has a lot of great moments, but it's not one of my favorites because I like the Power Rangers when they experimented with more serialized storytelling, more mature arcs, character development, and characters actually dying is where I think it got much better. Yeah, Mighty Morphin, I think it's still pretty great. It would probably go on to A, maybe S tier, depending on how I feel, but it is a good show overall. Just kind of outclassed as the show got better, but don't worry, the show also got worse, so Mighty Morphin is withstood the test of time compared to shows like Overdrive or Turbo. Ugh, don't remind me. The Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger was originally a guy. Yeah, that is the case. In Japan, the Yellow Ranger is sometimes a male, which is kind of funny because in America, the yellow is turned into female because most guys do not say yellow is their favorite color. I do like that some of the Yellow Rangers in Japan, they're actually males. They're like males playing them in the Sentai footage, but in America, suddenly the Yellow Ranger has big breasts, which is very funny. But yeah, gonna be ranking them all. Not a whole lot to work with, but I'm sure you guys will deliver your commentary. Feel free to tell me where you'd put some of these Rangers on my tier list, whether they're old, new, or the ones you don't really care about. Yeah, please tell me. But yeah, let's start this tier list. I really like the Yellow Ranger. I think the Yellow Ranger had a lot more hot girls play her than the Pink Ranger did. Last Pink Ranger I found super sexy was Jen. Yeah, I know, we had some that people have crushes on, but Yellow Ranger always did something for me. We had like Maya, my Ranger crush, Ashley, Katie, and OG Trini and Z. Yeah, they were all pretty great. Hey, Cat. Hey, cool show. Alright, so let's finally get this under the way. We'll start with, of course, the OG Yellow Ranger, Trini. Yeah, Trini, going on to S tier. Sorry, that's A tier. Sorry, S tier. Is there really any doubt? Trini is hot, sweet, kick-ass, and the classic Yellow Ranger. Yeah, I know everyone's gonna complain that, what about the racism? There was no racism, they just didn't think it through. Trini is the OG Yellow Mighty Morphin Ranger. This is the first American Yellow Ranger, and Trini really loved her. Like, Tweed Trung, I believe is her name. Yeah, she was pretty hot, not gonna lie. She and Kimberly were both everyone in school's crush. Sigh, R.I.P. But yeah, Trini was great. That's what I was gonna say, great, yeah. The Somnibot monster in Power Rangers always put people to sleep. Hey, cool show, glad you made it. Her name is pronounced Trini. Yeah, I really like Trini. Like, the actress who played her, very pretty. She is hot. She and Kimberly are definitely the hot, popular girl archetypes and very fun ones. So Trini was supposed to be the tomboy to Kimberly's girly girl, but honestly, they both kind of felt like the girly girl, especially the way Tweed dressed. This is the OG Yellow Ranger. She's fun, she's charismatic, she's the heart, she's a million times hotter than that abomination we'll get in the reboot. Don't worry, we'll get to reboot Trini. But who doesn't love the OG Trini? She's a classic. No, the fact that the Yellow Ranger was the Asian girl did not bother me at all. I think it was just an oversight. I think they didn't really think it through that the Asian chick was the Yellow Ranger and the black guy was the Black Ranger. I do not think it was racism. I just think they didn't think it through. Especially because the 2017 reboot would kind of fix this by making the black guy the Blue Ranger and the Asian guy the Blue. Not to go off topic, but you were 100% correct on the #1 worst Goosebumps tale. Thank you, CK. Watch that video if you haven't. It's on an episode we actually haven't reviewed yet, but that's because we haven't gotten to the first one yet. Sorry, I know it's taking a while, but we're kind of sorting through a new schedule. Anyways, OG Trini, of course she's gone on to S tier. We all love her. R.I.P. Tweed Trung, really loved her. She really knocked it out of the park as this character, and I was very sad to see her go. She eventually got replaced by, I believe it was Aisha and then Tanya. Yeah, we had two new Yellow Rangers in the original Zordon era, but Trini's going to be a classic. She made it as an honorable mention on my hottest Ranger babes list for a reason, but yeah, I agree, I love her, she's cute, she's adorable, and a pretty badass Ranger. Really wish Trini and Kimberly got to stick around a lot longer because they were definitely the highlight of Season 1. What is the best Power Rangers episode in the original? That is hard. I would say when Lord Zed showed up, that one was pretty intense because Zed is not a comedic villain like Rita Repulsa, so he was kind of a major turning point for the show. People also requested I talk about the Jack-O-Lantern Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episode for October. We'll see, especially since these Ranger videos I'm hoping take off soon. I also find it stupid that people think putting the black guy in the black suit is racist. Yeah, fully agree. I think it's just something they didn't really think through, but of course people on the internet cried offensive, and yeah, we got to say goodbye to Zach and Trini because of that. Yeah, thanks for getting the ethnic characters fired by your complaints. Honestly, sorry to be off topic, but I need to finish Kamen Rider. I have not watched it. My brother Wolf is watching Kamen Rider currently, but he's got a lot to go through. Aisha was still good, was a bit iffy with Tanya, but she's kinda meh. I'd say Green with Evil. Oh yeah, the Green Ranger arc. That one, everybody loves that one because Tommy Oliver is an S-tier character. Speaking of which, we should also talk about Aisha, then Tanya. I believe this one's Aisha. I will put her on to A. Yeah, I know. I heard a lot of people really like Aisha. I'm trying to remember. One of the original Mighty Morphin Yellows, it was either Tanya's actress or Aisha's actress, apparently got into a lot of trouble because she was scamming Power Ranger fans. Like, she made this promise for, like, a fan film project, and then she took everyone's money and never delivered. I don't remember which one it was because, not to be racist, they were both kind of the OG black girl Rangers, so I don't remember who was who. But Aisha, I thought she was alright. Aisha is the heart. She's the sensitive one, but also a mix of the sassy black woman in there. I remember her talking to Zordon, let the man talk. Aisha was pretty much the replacement for Trini because Twee ended up leaving the show. She and Zach both got dumped, and this was her replacement, and they sort of fixed that racism problem by making the black girl the Yellow Ranger, and the Asian guy, Johnny Young Bosch, was the Black Ranger. Okay, that is Aisha. Thank you, Shadowlink. R.I.P. Tommy Oliver. Yeah, beloved Jason David Frank. Actually, Jason, Zach, and Trini left the show because of money. Oh, okay, that was always a case for Power Ranger actors. They always leave because of money disputes. They want to be paid more, so they get rid of you and replace you. Hey, you don't have Audrey Dubois on here? Is she not on here? No big loss. I haven't watched the recent Ranger shows anyway. Aisha, I think she's fine. She was a decent replacement. I liked her more in the Mighty Morphin Rangers movie, where she got to have a lot more personality and banter with Kimberly. Kind of upsetting that Kimberly got over Trini basically leaving, and Aisha took the role as her new best friend. They were both the hot popular girls then. Aisha, I think, was alright. She was a bit underdeveloped, but then when Tanya came along, she kind of gotten even more hate as the show went on. Aisha, I'll put onto A. She was fine, but not my favorite. Alright, speaking of which, alright, let's do Tanya. Might upset some people. Tanya's going on to B. Yeah, so the actress has kind of gotten into some controversy as of late, but putting that aside, Tanya has never been a standout Yellow Ranger. She was basically a replacement for Aisha, and a much more obvious one because she was also the sassy black woman. Tanya came in during Power Rangers Zeo, which I have not watched all of. I mostly know of her through Linkara's videos, and I know of her from Turbo, mostly, and if you know my thoughts on Turbo, they are not very happy. So, Tanya, putting the actress's controversy aside, not one of my favorites. She was kind of bland and boring. She, once again, was kind of a blatant replacement for Aisha, but didn't get much to do on her own. Yeah, she didn't have much to her. That's the biggest problem with Tanya. Yeah, Tanya, she's kind of boring. That's the problem. Tanya was underdeveloped, she was underutilized, and to make matters worse, she was quickly replaced partway in through Turbo by Ashley, meaning that she didn't even get a fulfilling character arc like the rest of everyone did. Audrey Dubas is the Yellow Ranger before Trini in the original pilot. Oh, okay. She was originally going to be Trini, but then was replaced by Thuy Trang. Okay, so yeah, she's not on here. Guess she doesn't count. We need best and worst original Power Rangers episodes. That might take a long while, Miss Kitty. There's like 200 Mighty Morphin episodes. It's kind of why I haven't been rewatching that show as of late, because it is very overwhelming. Even James Rolfe said he had a hard time getting through it because the first season of Mighty Morphin is 60 episodes long. That's the same length of one of these average Power Rangers seasons. Like, let me put it this way. Lost Galaxy and In Space were like 45 episodes, while Mighty Morphin is 200. Yeah, thank you, Ira. They did leave because of money. My mistake. Audrey Dubas. Okay, I read that comment. Alright. So yeah, that was the problem. Tanya didn't get much to do. I don't hate her as much as everyone else, but she was just boring. She's going on to B for boring. She's right smack in the middle. Alright, then after that came everyone's favorite, Ashley. Ashley from Power Rangers in Space. Where to put her? So, Ashley abruptly took over the yellow mantle from Tanya in the middle of Turbo, and if you don't know, Turbo has one of the most infamous two-parters of all time, passing the torch onto a whole new group of Rangers who were not very interesting characters and replacing the classic fan-favorite Mighty Morphin characters. Jason David Frank and Catherine Hillard wanted to leave the show, but the others did not. Johnny Young Bosch and Tanya had no idea they were getting fired, essentially, so they had to pass them on to these characters, and Ashley is kind of hurt because she had the same problem as Tanya. She was boring in Turbo. Ashley didn't do much in Turbo, but then came In Space where they finally gave her character. The first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was going to be 40 episodes, but because of the show's popularity, it was extended to 60. Okay, that does make sense. So, where to put Ashley? I know some people will argue she belongs in S, but I might put her onto A. Yeah, I know I'm gonna upset some people, break a few hearts, but I do like Ashley, but she's not one of my favorite 10 out of 10 Power Rangers. Ashley was basically a cheerleader at Angel Grove. She ended up helping people during an invasion of Angel Grove, and this convinced Tanya to pass on her entire mantle to this random Good Samaritan. A for Ashley, mainly because she got better in Space. Yeah, so this is the problem. Ashley is pretty much a non-character in Turbo. She's also boring. She does nothing. There's a lot more focus on Justin and TJ, who I do not like. But yeah, basically Ashley was a neglected Ranger in Turbo, and In Space was pretty much the redemption arc for all the Turbo Rangers. They got much better character, much better spotlight episodes, and much more deeper development than they ever had in the god-awful Turbo. Ashley falls in love with Andros, and we get to see her having friendship moments a lot more with the team. Ashley is kind of the heart of the team. She's the optimistic one. She's bubbly, she's friendly, and through her romance with Andros, got a lot more to do. It actually made Ashley interesting. Ashley is much better as a Space Ranger, but she's held back because of her history on Turbo, or lack thereof history on Turbo. Even she didn't crack your top 5 hottest Rangers list. Ashley's on my personal top 5. Yeah, I know, CK. A lot of people love Ashley. I won't lie, she is pretty hot. Miss Cruz is definitely a looker. She looks hot, she kicks ass, and she's very flirty with Andros. Really like their romance. That's why she's up on A. She is still high up for In Space. So if you don't know, Ashley got a lot more badass moments on In Space. I love her outsmarting Psycho Yellow and Psycho Pink, showing that Ashley can handle herself alone on a fight. Her and Cassie's friendship moments actually gave her a lot more depth. My favorite Ashley episode was when Cassie got into an argument over cleaning. Yeah, I really love that. Ashley's a lot more lazy. She doesn't like cleaning. She's making a mess of things while Cassie's the one who does all the work. They have a girl's friendship fallout, get into petty arguments. It is pretty funny. Wolf and I really love that episode. Ashley can hold her own on a fight finally when she's abducted by Psycho Yellow and Pink. She uses her wits to survive, and basically she's kind of the morality pet for Andros, convincing him to do the right thing, having him open up and rediscover his humanity, and bringing him down to earth, basically, which I really liked about her. Unfortunately, Ashley didn't get too much to do in the finale. It does kind of revolve around her relationship with Andros, but as we all know, Astronema's redemption arc is the big focus in that. Astronema gets redeemed, and Zordon's tragic death kind of overshadowed her in the end, but I will still put Ashley on A. Liked her Star Slinger. She was a lot cooler on In Space and had a lot more depth. If we ranked Pink/Yellow duos, Cassie and Ashley would rank near the top. Oh, I agree, their friendship was a lot cuter. Yeah, Ashley and Cassie are definitely likable friends, so I will put her on A. I know a lot of diehards will say she goes on to S, but I remember Turbo exists and Ashley didn't get to do much there, so she'll be on A. So after that, as you know, came my crush, Maya. Ah yes, Maya the Jungle Princess. If you've kept up with my channel or watched my recent vids, you know she's going on to S tier. Yeah, of course she is. Maya is my Power Ranger crush, and ultimately my favorite Yellow Ranger because of course she is. Hot, kick-ass jungle princess. She has force powers. She can talk to the animals. She's mystical. She's played by the best character from Not Another Teen Movie, and Maya actually is a very compelling character on her own in Lost Galaxy. I have a sentiment towards Yellow Rangers. My first celebrity crush in my life was Aisha. Oh, really? Okay. That's nice to know. Okay, so all these years later, I do not think Maya has been outclassed as one of the greatest Yellow Rangers of all time. Basically, she's an alien. This is one of our few otherworldly Rangers who is not a normal human born on Earth. Maya's from the planet Miranoi. You know the drill. Her planet was invaded for the Quasar Sabers. Her planet was completely turned to stone, and Maya is the last of her race. She goes on the expedition with the Terra Venture crew, and basically her goal is to free and liberate her people. She believes that if they defeat the great evil, and she can find a way to basically unfreeze her people, getting into wacky, sexy misadventures with the Galaxy Rangers along the way. A lot of my favorite episodes of Lost Galaxy, of course, have Maya. Love the Loyax episode. Love the one where her friend seemingly comes back only for it to be revealed to be a monster in disguise. Sexy jungle girl cat fights. And her and Kendrix having that falling out over eating her birthday cake. Damon, that girl's crazy. Yeah, well, so are we. Yeah, you remember that, Shadowlink? I always thought Maya was a hot watching Lost Galaxy when it was on. Yeah, fully agree. Serena Vincent is so pretty. She even still looks pretty today, but Maya, she's one of the sexiest Power Rangers of all time. She made it very high up on my top 5 hottest Ranger babes list, even outclassing Vipra and Trakina. So you know I really love her. Maya really kicks ass. Love her parkouring, her swinging on vines, her jungle girl style. She's sort of a wolf ranger. I believe that's what her Yellow Ranger is supposed to be. Yeah, sorry I didn't mention this earlier. The Yellow Ranger is usually a cat of some sort, but hers is like the first wolf. I always thought Maya was hot watching Lost Galaxy. Yep, I thought so too. So I really liked her friendship with Kendrix too. Maya and Kendrix, I really liked them both, and they had a lot more fun banter because Maya was kind of the fish out of water. She ate her birthday cake, got into like sexy cat fights with her friends, and I thought Maya and Leo were gonna end up together because it seemed like they were having a lot of shipping moments. I know Leo gets shipped with like every girl and even guy on that show. Like, people thought he and Kendricks would hook up. He and Maya seemed to have a lot of scenes focusing on them bonding, and Maya was kind of the mentor figure. So that also helped elevate her on here because Maya's the one who knows more about their Ranger history and is kind of the voice mentoring her friends and her team. So it's why she kind of outclasses the earlier Yellows. And, oh yeah, Leo also got shipped with Trakina and Karone, which is very funny thinking about it. I was very fortunate to meet Serena. Oh, good for you, CK. How was she? Yeah, as you know, Maya also succeeds in her mission. She does liberate her people. After they finally defeat Trakina, Maya reveals that she found Miranoi again and that they can unfreeze them by returning the Quasar Sabers to the stone. After they defeated the Great Evil, which froze them, they have to return the powers of good, and they all do. They lose their powers until crossover events will force them to get those swords back out. But yeah, I really love Maya. She's going on to S tier. She's my Power Ranger crush, and I still think she is legit one of the best Yellow Rangers, period. So yeah, she's S tier. She might be number 1, so not gonna lie. But yeah, Maya, she's spectacular. Best character from not another teen movie. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So after Maya came, I believe, Kelsey, the Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. Now, I actually really like Kelsey, so she's also going on to A tier. Kelsey is the Lightspeed Rescue Yellow, and she's a former pro athlete who gets recruited by the rescue team because she's done death-defying stunts. She's like climbed mountains, does like extreme sports, is a skateboarder. Yeah, it seems kind of weird that a sports athlete is recruited for a military rescue ops team, but Kelsey was a whole lot of fun. I thought she was funny, she's amusing. I think Sasha Williams is actually very pretty too. Once again, I think the Yellow Rangers had some very fairly pleasant lookers. Kelsey is basically the fun one. She's fun personified. She's kind of the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne of her Power Rangers team. She's a kid at heart. She's like rollerblading all around the area, having fun, cracking jokes. I heard some fans actually theorize that she was gay, but she's clearly very shipped with Chad, the Blue Ranger. She like has a very obvious crush on the Blue Ranger, flirting with him, trying to get him to open up more, playfully like admiring him. So I think she might be bi, because there's also an episode where she rescues a girl's dog and she has this very low-key romantic tension with her, which I can definitely see why some people mistook her as gay. Kelsey gets bonus points as she had an extremely tough act to follow. After Maya and Ashley, she more than held her own. Yeah, Maya and Ashley were definitely great Yellows. Kelsey comes pretty close. I thought she was fun. Unfortunately, she's kind of the more underdeveloped Ranger on her team. She gets a lot more persona than Dana does. Dana might be the most boring Pink Ranger we ever had. But Kelsey, she's fun, she's cool, she's kick-ass. Really like how buff she is. Sasha Williams, very pretty, not gonna lie. I heard she also did a nude scene in a werewolf movie, so that got me curious to check out too. But Lightspeed Yellow, I think she's just fun personified. Her biggest spotlight episode is the one where her grandma is like this stiff, uptight, rich bitch who doesn't show Kelsey enough love, and Kelsey gets endangered trying to save her crystal back, and Grandma has a complete turnaround and badass moment where she teams up with Kelsey to beat up Vipra's guards. Well, she made more sense being recruited as an athlete than just being recruited for being a race car driver like the Overdrive one. Oh yeah, Ronnie. Yeah, she's down here too. The episode with her grandmother and the crystal, and the episode with the thief were the ones I remember most with Kelsey. Also, Dana is not boring, she's hot. Okay, Dana is hot, I know she is, but she was a model after all, a glamour girl, but Dana did not have personality. That was my problem. Kelsey had a lot more to do. She was more fun-loving and carefree, and that made her a lot more interesting than Dana. Dana didn't really get to do much. That was her problem. That's why I consider her boring. Hi everyone, hey V Scorpio. You missed the best ones, Maya and Trini and Ashley. Sasha stood out. Deleted their comment. Okay. Anyways, I like Sasha Williams' acting too. She's actually one of the few good Power Ranger actors, so she had a lot of fun. She basically went back to being an extreme sports athlete after Lightspeed Rescue disbanded. And yeah, she does actually hold on to their morpher. I love that Lightspeed Rescue did not take away their morphers or their powers. They now just use them as kind of a temp job and return to their normal lives. Tragically, she and Chad did not end up together because they're now living their lives separately. But Sasha Williams I think was pretty good as Kelsey, and she's gone on to A just for being pretty fun. Don't worry, she doesn't dethrone Ashley or Maya, so not perfect, but still pretty much entertaining. So after Kelsey, it was time for Time Force, which means it's Katie. I really love Katie. She also made my hottest Ranger babe, so will I put her on S tier or A tier? This one's pretty hard. Might have to settle on A tier. Sasha doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, considering how beloved Tracy and Serena were. She was more than filled the Yellow Ranger's shoes. Yeah, she is pretty fun. I just wish she got more focus. Sorry, I got my 500 waters here to stay hydrated. Sigh, poor Katie. While she's awesome, I wish she got more focus episodes. Yeah, this is the only reason why Katie is not on S tier. She did not get enough focus. She's our neglected Ranger of her Power Ranger season. Though what we got wasn't pretty bad. I really like Katie because she reminds me of She-Hulk. Cree Summers She-Hulk, not that abomination on Disney Plus right now. So, Katie is the fun one too. She's actually implied to be an alien or a mutant because she has superhuman strength. Katie can like lift giant metal debris, and she can hurl villains like pretty much a Hulk punch. Katie's top tier, she's hot and super strong. It's Wolfen time. Yo, Kat. Hey, Emily, you made it. We're on Time Force's Katie. So, I want to put Katie on S tier so bad, but is she in the same league as Maya and Trini is what I'm kind of questioning. I really like Katie. I think she's also pretty hot. She did make my top 6 hottest Ranger babes for a reason. Katie Estelle is very beautiful. Really liked her. A fun fact, according to Katie's actress, she was almost going to be the first female Green Ranger, but they looked at the Sentai footage and the Yellow Ranger is clearly taller than the Green Ranger, and Katie and Trip are both different heights, so unfortunately Trip and Katie got swapped out and became the green and yellow we know and love today. Not meeting Deborah Estelle is my biggest Morphicon regret. Too bad, CK. Okay, so this is the only reason why she's not an S tier. Katie does not receive enough focus. She's our neglected Ranger. She gets like 2 spotlight episodes. There are traces of a personality. Deborah Estelle does a pretty good job. She's fun-loving. She's a lot more nicer. She's the good cop to Jen's bad cop. Really think she's pretty hot too. And she does have some hints of a character. Katie beats the crap out of idiot bullies, so that automatically makes her hot and kick-ass. She's also into musicals, as she's in the musical segment of the movie 2-parter. And she actually does, like, have a good heart. She's like the gentle giant. She's friendly. She's caring. She gives, like, bear hugs that nearly crush people's spines, which, pretty hilarious. Shout out to Trip, one of the best Green Rangers objectively. Boo anyone who disagrees with the facts. I do like Trip, Emily. He made it onto A tier for me instead of S. I know, blasphemy, but what can I say? He was overshadowed by Eric and Wes. Anyways, Katie, she had 2 episodes. She time travels to the past and helps this ghost stand up to his idiot bullies and helps him gain confidence in himself so he lives a happier life. So Katie does care about people. She is a cop after all, and a very good one. Then in her next Spotlight episode, I believe she teamed up with this reporter who took pictures of the Power Rangers unmasked, and she reasons with him and touches his heart, touches his conscience, makes him realize that exposing the Power Rangers would be bad because they're heroes trying to help people, and he shouldn't do it out of his selfish desires to be on top. And there was another, oh yeah, her family. She's also very scared that time traveling is affecting their future and she might retcon her family out of existence. And Katie undergoes a pretty neat and tragic crisis of faith. She's worried that she's not fighting for a good cause anymore and that their actions in the past might destroy their future, and she's afraid that her family might be retconned out of existence, and she questions if being a ranger is worth it now. Eva longed on S and you know the truth. Stop denying reality, Kitty. Walk in the truth. Sorry, I don't know what you were saying at the start there, Emily. So, I do love Katie. She reminds me of She-Hulk, basically. Hot, sexy, badass. Cree Summers She-Hulk, not the Tatiana god-awful abomination. But Katie, I like her. I'm gonna put her on to A tier. She also has a lot of heartwarming moments with Wes. She and Wes pretty much hit it off, like, without fail. Wes befriends both Katie and Trip very quickly. Lucas and Jen are the ones that are more cold towards him, and it leads to a lot of heartwarming moments between the two because they basically treat Wes like a friend and they instantly become family. Tragic that she gave him like a bear hug at the end and is actually crying, which is not something you'd expect from the tough girl, but that's what made Katie very interesting. So I will put her onto A. She is pretty awesome. I want to put her on S so badly that might change depending on these other yellows we'll get to, but we'll see as we move along. But yeah, Time Force's Katie is A. She's awesome. So after Time Force came Taylor from Wild Force. Oh boy, Taylor. And Emily's here too, so she'll be pissed. Taylor's going on to C. Okay, so Taylor is easily my least favorite of the Wild Force Rangers. The idea is Taylor is supposed to also be kind of a hard ass with a heart of gold, and she slowly but surely becomes a defrosting ice queen, warming up to her Rangers. She's originally the real leader on the Wild Force team until Cole comes in and Cole undergoes his character development to become a stronger leader. Taylor was a badass Yellow Ranger. Yeah, you would think that, Ira. Okay, so Taylor was supposed to be like Carol Danvers of her Power Ranger team. She's the hard ass with a heart of gold, the badass soldier girl. She's hot, she's kick-ass, she's no nonsense, very dead serious, but she has a nice side that slowly comes out the more the Rangers bond with her, and honestly, Taylor was my least favorite of the Wild Force team. I thought Alyssa was a lot more adorable and she was the heart. I like Danny being the gentle giant. Cole was the hero going through finding his destiny and whatever, and Max was the kid trying to prove he was grown up and ready to kick ass. Taylor, basically, she's the one that becomes nicer. She's the jerk with the heart of gold, and I didn't really gravitate her because she's mean for at least half the series, then starts displaying her softer side. It doesn't help that the actress had some sour memories of filming Wild Force. Boo this man, based Ira, at least someone walking in the light of honesty. Emily, you're here for my opinion, and sometimes you're not gonna like it. Sometimes you'll agree with me, sometimes you'll hate me, but Taylor just didn't do anything for me. She was just kind of boring. She's mean, she's dull, and the actress clearly did not get along well with her fellow castmates. I know behind-the-scenes drama is a staple of Power Rangers, but according to some interviews, Taylor's actress kind of kept to herself. She distanced herself from everyone, whereas Cole's actor had a lot more infamy behind him, but this kind of reflected on the character too. Taylor did not feel like she was friends with anyone there, and that's my big problem with her. Taylor, she does have a heartwarming story where she gradually accepts the Wild Force members as her family, which makes their split up all the more depressing, though Taylor is back in the Air Force after they kill Master Org, and apparently she still hangs out with the Eagle Zord, which I would have found touching if it ever came up all throughout the main series that she and the Eagle Zord were total besties. Her romance with Eric was interesting. That's right, the Quantum Ranger and Taylor got shipped together. Unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere. Yeah, Eric, the Quantum Ranger, actually got shipping moments with Taylor because they're both the no-nonsense, dead serious military brats. They're both the military ones. Eric's part of the Silver Guardians. Taylor was Air Force. I guess they gave her leave for her time to be a Power Ranger. Not sure how that works if you're like a key staff in the Air Force and apparently you're gone for a year fighting monsters and demons. As much as I liked Allison Kipperman, I respect and understand your 2 cents on Taylor. Thank you, CK. Finally someone understands. Based. Yeah, I liked her and Eric being shipped together, but spoilers, they don't even hook up and that goes nowhere. Like, Eric goes back to Silver City and Taylor doesn't even call him, so I guess it was just a fling. Taylor is back in the Air Force and Allison never really appeared ever again, so I'm just not a fan of Taylor as a character. I don't find her particularly interesting. She's easily one of the least developed Rangers, and she got the least amount of episodes on Wild Force 2. Like, I swear, I think Alyssa got a lot more focus than she did. So, Eagle Ranger, she's gone on to C. She's not the worst one ever, but kind of forgettable amongst all these superior ladies. So, after Wild Force came our first male Yellow Ranger, Dustin. Oh, where do we put Dustin? Dustin is the Yellow Ninja Storm Ranger. Yeah, they decided to mix it up and break those gender norms. Dustin is the first male Yellow Ranger in America. And Tori became the first female Blue Ranger. I know Tori would be on S tier because everybody loves her. She's hot and kick-ass and fun-loving too. But Dustin, he was kind of overshadowed by the Thunder Rangers. Hunter and Blake were so much cooler, and even Cam underwent a lot better character development. Dustin is the comic relief ranger. He's the doofus, he's the screw-up, and basically he matures into a better ninja. The first male human Yellow Ranger in Power Rangers. Oh, that's right, we have the Yellow Alien Ranger down here too. Alright, so I want to ask you guys, where do you want to put Dustin? Because I have not rewatched Ninja Storm in a long time, and Dustin being a goofball ranger was kind of a part of that. I am not a fan of Ninja Storm anymore. I used to love it. I owned a lot of the toys of it. Me and Wolf collected a lot of Lego Ninja Storm stuff, and we used to look up to it. It was back when we were totally in love with Power Rangers, but Dustin I never even liked back then. He was kind of overshadowed by the Thunder Rangers. Hunter and Blake were my favorite members of the team. Dustin kind of fell flat, and he was a part of the main trio. Dustin is the comic relief of the team. Unfortunately, he didn't get that much character of the team. Personally, I would put him on C. Okay. Hey, did you add the original Trini actress, Audrey Dubas, from the unaired version of a pilot? She counts too. Sorry, Dubas is not on here. I don't know why. I did not make this tier list, but apparently she's not on here. This might be her, but we'll see. Dustin, going on to C, and don't worry, I'm putting him under Taylor, because Taylor at least had some moments to shine. Dustin, he's the Earth Elemental Ninja Storm Ranger, I do remember that. He had trouble tunneling and using his Earthbender powers, and eventually he succeeds by the end. Dustin was not as interesting as everyone else on that show. I know every guy I knew had a crush on Tori because she was hot and kick-ass, but I thought Hunter and Blake and even the Red Ranger were kind of more interesting than he was. Yeah, C is good for him. High C to B. That's not her. Okay, thank you, James. Dustin, he was just overshadowed. Exactly like Katie, he was the neglected ranger. And unfortunately, I do not have fond memories of Ninja Storm either. I do remember there were much better characters than he was, so he's gone on to C. So after Dustin came everyone's favorite, Kira. Kira, going on to trash. Yeah, Kira sucks. Screw this bitch. Kira is the most awful ranger of the series. No, I'm just kidding. If you haven't clicked off yet, of course, Kira's going up on S tier. Also, Dubois. Pronounced Dubois. Okay, Dubois. Okay. That's not her. Yeah, okay, so don't worry, you guys don't have to kill me with your Megazords. Of course, Kira's going on to S tier. Like, Exactly like Tori, everyone loved her. She was the hot, badass chick. Kira is the struggling musician, and unlike Cassie, her musical career actually took off. If you don't know, Kira is the yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Kira is definitely the odd one out. She's the social outcast girl, but the cool one. She's like a skater. She plays her guitar. She believes in women's rights and all that, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you get the idea. Everyone loved Kira. She was hot. All the boys wanted to be with her. All the women wanted to be her. Girls looked up to her because she kicked ass and she had a backbone. She was a pretty badass girl. Was about to say, yeah, don't worry, Shadowlink. Shut the fuck up, cat. Don't you slander the best Yellow Ranger like that. I will fight you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know where she belongs. There was about to be a lot of hostility here, cat boy. Yeah, don't worry, guys. Of course Kira's going on to S. I wanted to mess with you. Always love kidding around. But anyways, yeah, Kira, pretty kick-ass. I do think she didn't get too much in terms of character development outside of becoming nicer. Kira's kind of another Ice Queen Ranger, and a much better one than Taylor, because we actually see a nicer side to Kira very quickly growing. Kira's also a defrosting Ice Queen. She's a social outcast. She doesn't get along with others, but over the course of the series, she starts opening up more, bonding with her odd friendship in the Rangers, and realizing that there's more to people than meets the eye. She thinks Tyler is an arrogant jerk jock, but then starts to see he's a nice guy. She starts to see Ethan as a loser weirdo nerd, but then sees he actually is a person. He actually is intelligent and knows what he's talking about most of the time. She sees Tommy Oliver as a Dorkasaurus, a weird old professor not to listen to, until Tommy becomes the badass ranger mentor we all know and love, and she starts earning a degree of respect for him. And of course, as we all know, Kira has a massive crush on Trent, who is also a social outcast bad boy. Trent is kind of the Harry Osborn of Dino Thunder. He's the son of a rich Norman Osborn knockoff Anton Mercer, and he doesn't get along with others, but Kira relates with him and touches his heart, and they become an obvious couple by the end. Kira could be a bit of a bitch towards Ethan, though. Yeah, she was. Also, she was a bitch towards Tyler, but because Tyler's also kind of a dick, he kind of deserves it. Emily, the Yellow Samurai Ranger, sucks. Her sister was supposed to be a Yellow Ranger, but she got sick, and even then, she still sucks. In terms of defrosting Ice Queen, Kira was better than Taylor, but not being a team leader a la Jen was her only negative. Yeah, that was also kind of what held her back. She does not outclass Trini because she's classic, and Maya because she's the #1 Yellow Ranger, but I can see why people love Kira. She was also a musician because in real life, the Dino Thunder actress was also an amateur musician. She could sing, she could play guitar, and she performed at their juice bar, which pretty cool. Gave her a lot more traits to remember her. So that's just my water. Anyways, Kira is the pterodactyl Dino Thunder Ranger, and pterodactyls were my favorite dinosaur, so I did kind of appreciate that about her too. As you all know, she kicks ass, and she eventually hooks up with Trent. I remember there was an episode that took place in the future where they're at their class reunion before SPD brought them back, and she mentions that she's become a world famous star, so Kira did achieve her dream, unlike Cassie, who kind of lost her whole identity once she went into space. Yeah, she was kind of mean towards Ethan. I did not like that about her, but she did become nicer. Is Min Trini's daughter from Once and Always on this list? I don't think so. I don't recognize some of the later ones, but yeah, anyways, who doesn't love Kira? She's one of the best Yellow Rangers and was pretty much the main female ranger of Dino Thunder, so of course she got a lot of focus as the predominant female character. And yeah, a lot hotter than Elsa, that's for sure. So it's implied that Kira did hook up with Trent, they became a couple, and Anton Mercer, once he became a nice guy, fully supports Trent in his life, and I do believe they probably had children in the future together. Cat, pterodactyl technically isn't real creatures. Alright, pterodactyl, pteranodon, whatever, nerd. Especially that line she said to Ethan in the second crossover episode in SBD. Oh yeah, she still had her bitchiness on and then. Though, I do think that was kind of fair because the SBD Rangers were total pricks to the Dino Thunder Rangers. Yeah, someone asked me, is the SBD and Dino Thunder crossover the worst? I don't think so, but it is pretty much in the top 5 worst Power Ranger crossovers, because if you don't remember, the SBD Rangers treat the Dino Rangers like obsolete crap. They treat the Dino Rangers like, oh, you're old, you're just civilians, you're useless, let the SPD Rangers handle this. We're from the future, we know what we're doing, and yeah, basically it told the Dino Rangers and their fans to screw off and sit on the sidelines while the SPD do most of the fighting. It's possible for you to add that picture. Are you talking about of Trini's daughter or the girl from the pilot? Kira might be not be number 1, but she's not far off from your S-tier Rangers. Yeah, I can definitely see why people like Kira. Unfortunately, the actress has also kind of turned her back against Power Rangers, and that kind of disappointed me. We see all these great women Rangers who keep going to Morphicons. Kira's actress kind of let it go. She thinks she's too old for Power Rangers, and she's kind of ashamed of her past on Dino Thunder, which is a shame because this kind of helped form her stardom. But yeah, I'll put Kira on S tier. I know you all love her, and of course I do agree she's one of the more well-developed characters. So Dino Thunder Princess Roar Supreme, she's on S tier. So after Kira came Z. Oh yeah, SPD Emergency. Z also gone on to S tier, and I might put her under Kira. So, if you don't remember, this is Z SPD Yellow. Z was a street urchin. She grew up as basically this bum on the streets. Z was bullied and picked on because she had a mutant power. Z has the power to clone herself. She can make projections of herself and make shadow clones, basically. However, these clones don't last forever. They are pretty much solid light energy that she uses until she can make them vanish. Z was kind of bullied for her powers because this was during the time when mutants were treated harshly by society in the future. Z ran away, and she formed an odd friendship with Jack, the future SPD Red Ranger, and they became kind of these Robin Hood heroes. They're robbing from the rich, helping the poor, but Z wanted to make an actual difference. She didn't want to be like a gangbanger or a criminal vigilante. She actually wanted to be like a part of the justice system and helping people like her. I'm referring to both. Okay, but I still don't know enough about them. I've never watched the Once and Always movie. I've only heard bad things about it, and I've never seen the original Mighty Morphin pilot. The one Rangers whose voice actors some people complain about because she's doing over fans. Yeah, I heard also Tanya's actress kind of got into trouble scamming fans too. But I can't really prove that. It's a lot of he said, she said type of stuff. So, anyways, I did like Z. She really grew on me. Z was a lot better than Sid, the SPD Pink Ranger. Sid, they tried to kind of make the Barbie girl. She was a lot more girly girl, but she was also kind of a stuck-up rich bitch. Like, Sid came across as like the alpha bitch popular girl, while Z was definitely the punk rocker girl, the tomboy, and that made her a lot more likable. It also helped that Z's actress was very pretty. Z was pretty badass, no-nonsense Ranger. I meant OnlyFans, stupid autocorrect. Okay. So, I did like Z because she didn't get as many episodes as you'd think, but when the spotlight was on her, it showed that she was a very competent SPD officer. Z was a lot more grounded compared to her cohorts, whereas Sky was kind of uptight, a stick in the mud, and very dead serious, did not treat his fellow Rangers as equals. Jack was kind of a goofball who had to grow up. Bridge was the kooky one. Sid was kind of a woman child. She was kind of the immature, girly girl one. Z was pretty much the token normal one. She wanted to make a difference. After she and Jack get arrested by SPD, they have a choice to either go to prison or become junior SPD officers, and Z actually leaps at the chance to become a Power Ranger and make a difference. They become a part of the B Squad. Z actually likes helping people. Z cares about the homeless, cares about bringing law and order, and pretty much adjusts to being a Power Ranger fairly quickly. I hope you do a Black Rangers tier list because I want you to talk about the controversy surrounding the Overdrive Black Ranger. Oh, do you really, Ira? I heard, we had a tough time talking about the controversy that surrounded Cole's actor. Love Z, very underrated Yellow Ranger. Yeah, I like Z too. She kicks ass. She kind of becomes the arch enemy towards Moira / Morgana. If you don't know, Moira / Morgana is the psychotic woman child and Grum's right-hand woman. Really liked Moira. She's that creepy little girl who's really a 40-year-old woman who doesn't want to grow up or something. They didn't really explore it, but she is the archenemy towards Z, and they have this very fun rivalry. I really like them because it's the first time, you know, a Ranger felt like they were a full-blown sworn nemesis towards one of Grum's troops. So Z very quickly becomes friends with all the Rangers. She proves herself, proves her badass degree. She and Jack have a nice chemistry. I heard a lot of fans were pissed that she and Jack didn't hook up, basically, because it did feel like they were leaning in that direction, that Jack and Z known each other since childhood and were probably going to have a romantic relationship, but then we get to the mixed finale where Jack randomly quits being an SPD officer, which I still hate to this very day, and he and Z pretty much go their separate paths when Jack hooks up with a woman he knew for like a week. Yeah, I still have some negative feelings towards that finale, mostly because it was rushed, and I can see why. Jack and Z felt like they were more in tune, like they were kindred spirits. They both wanted to help people. Z actually does stick in SPD. She does not quit like that wussy boy Jack and gets a normal life. Z actually stays in her position and remains the yellow SPD Ranger. I have not fully watched Mystic Force all the way through, so I'm not sure if she came back in the crossover and she's still yellow. I know Sky and Bridge got promotions, but did Sid and Z get promoted at any point in SPD? I never finished Mystic Force. But anyways, yeah, Z, she's gone into S tier. I really like her. She's cool. She's underrated. She cares about people. And she's the one who helps relate to Sam, who's also this mutant kid with superpowers, is bullied and ostracized, and Z actually relates to him, which surprised me because it was the first time the SPD Rangers actually showed compassion. So yeah, she's gone on to S for sure. I really like Z. She is an underrated badass yellow. There's no crossover in Mystic Force? Oh, that sucks. If your hottest Rangers was more than 5, would Z have made the list? No, but Kendrix would have been on the list, and Tenaya 7 would have been on the list for sure. The one character I do regret is Tenaya 7 wasn't on the list. But that was because I didn't watch RPM yet when I made that. Yeah, Kendrix would have been on there, and Tenaya 7 would have been 7 just for that funny pun. Also, Dr. Cat would have been more likely to be on the list because I love me some sexy cat girl Rangers. Okay, so yeah, that completes Z. She's gone into S tier. So unfortunately, we're going into some uncharted territory because I don't recognize a few of these later Rangers. We got next Chip Thorne from Mystic Force. I believe this is him. So where would you guys put Chip? I want to ask you guys first what this Yellow Ranger was like. I have not finished Mystic Force. I've been trying to watch it, but it's a lot harder to get through. I know Rita Repulsa returns as the Mystic Mother, and she's the mentor figure. And I know of Optimus because he made my scariest villains list. But what are your guys' thoughts on Chip Thorne, the Mystic Yellow Force Ranger? Yep, we got another male Power Ranger. Chip is the second guy Yellow Ranger in America, who took up the mantle when the Mystic Mother needed new forces to fight an ancient Lovecraftian evil, the evil sorcerer known as Optimus. Mystic Force Yellow is alright. He's a goofball who loves to wear a cape. Yeah, I know he's like into comic books. He's kind of the fanboy ranger. I guess he was supposed to be like an audience surrogate, like an self-insert, because he's into comics, he's a nerd, he likes pop culture, just like a lot of kids do. And he was kind of like the quote-unquote representation for fanboys of Power Rangers. He's okay. Okay, then. We might put him onto C tier. We'll put him under Taylor, but above Dustin. Sorry, I never watched Mystic Force. I'm trying to, I'm getting through it, but haven't seen if there was even a crossover episode yet, and Chip has barely done anything. That was kind of the problem. We'll put him under Taylor and put him on the okay C section. Oh, speaking of which, here's Ronnie from Operation Overdrive, our first absolute trash. So, Operation Overdrive is awful, and a big reason why it's awful is not just because of the Ranger rap, but because it has the worst Power Ranger team of all time. Nobody likes the Overdrive Rangers. Why? Because they're all kind of unlikable, they're all underhanded, they're all kind of borderline criminals at times, and basically they're all greedy, shallow treasure hunters. The Overdrive Rangers do not have that tight a camaraderie, don't feel like they like each other, and have some of the worst moments in Power Rangers history, namely the fact that they kick back, give up their powers, and don't like being heroes. Taylor may not be Kat's favorite, but compared to Ronnie, she might as well be Maya by comparison. I also liked his relationship with the Pink Ranger. I wish they hooked up. Yeah, so is there any doubt Ronnie from Operation Overdrive is bad? Because the Operation Overdrive Rangers, they're the worst. I watched Linkara's History of Power Rangers video on it, and I kind of formed my own judgments that, yes, I agree with Linkara, these Rangers really suck because they're very unlikable. Yeah, Ronnie, she's the race car driver, I believe. She's recruited because she's good at vehicles, and Operation Overdrive, exactly like Turbo, tried to do vehicle Power Rangers, and it did not succeed. Namely because all these Rangers pretty much quit. They hate being Power Rangers, they hate being heroes, and when they had to surrender their powers, they all just say goodbye like they're a bunch of co-workers. Yeah, they did not have the tight kinship that most of these Ranger women had with all their teams. Well-deserved trash tier. What about Ronnie is bad? Well, the fact that she was recruited to be a Power Ranger because she's a race car driver. It's like, that's it? She drives a race car and you're worthy to be one of the legendary Power Ranger heroes? And not to mention, Operation Overdrive has one of the worst finales ever. They lose their Ranger powers after defeating the bad guys save the day, and they all just go their separate ways. Nobody cared to stay in touch, nobody really cared, nobody liked each other, and yeah, they all just go back to their regular jobs like nothing happened, undergoing zero character development. Yeah, so, of course, the one Operation Overdrive character is absolute trash because Overdrive was a pile of crap. So, yeah, Ronnie's going in here. So, next, I believe, came Lily from Jungle Fury. So, this one I might have to put on question mark. I've never watched Jungle Fury. I kind of gave up on Power Rangers by this point and never watched it. Where would you guys want to put Lily if you were making this list? I could put her up there, but probably not onto S tier. I know nothing about Jungle Fury. I thought it was just kind of an extension of Mystic Force, which apparently it's not, so I know nothing about. Well, Chad was recruited because he was a SeaWorld performer, lol. No, Ira, Chad was a marine biologist, and whale biologists are the best. Watch Futurama. Also, Chad knew martial arts. He was one of the greatest Mortal Kombat fighters, and he had a sensei who could even teach a monster how to break giant boulders. So Chad had fighting skills. A race car driver does not know Mortal Kombat. At least Lee wasn't sexual assault like her Sentai counterpart. I'm here. Hey, Moonwing Entertainment. We're on Lily from Jungle Fury. The difference is that Lightspeed Rescue's team actually liked each other and never quit. Yeah, even when they stopped working together as Power Rangers, they all kept their morphers. Oh, they kept them in the crossover. I know they handed them back to Captain Mitchell, but the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers were heroes who liked helping people. The Overdrive Rangers were all a bunch of jackasses and criminals who only cared about helping themselves. So yeah, I don't like the Overdrive chick, and I don't know enough about Jungle Fury, so she's going on here. But I think this is Emily from Power Rangers Samurai, who is also going on to Absolute Trash. Yeah, James Loveland, if you're still watching this, we'll put Emily onto Absolute Trash next to Emily Alucard in Operation Overdrive Zerani. So, this chick was never supposed to be the Yellow Ranger. Her sister, I believe, was supposed to inherit the samurai powers, but she got sick with like a deadly disease, so her sister here, Emily, took up the Yellow Ranger's sword and kind of became a non-character. Emily doesn't get much development. It's implied she suffers from depression, but it doesn't really get resolved or explored. Power Rangers Samurai, it's a bad show. I couldn't even get past a few episodes of it, so don't expect a tier list. Oh wait, isn't that Emily? I'm pretty sure. I thought this was Summer down here. Yeah, so did I mix the characters up? Is this Summer? I'm pretty sure this is Emily. I thought this was Summer because it looks more like her. Oh, that is Summer. Okay, this is Summer. Okay. Now I guess we'll put her up on S tier. Yeah, we'll put her above Trini at least. I'm sorry, I mixed them up. I thought this was Summer. No, okay, this is Summer. Lily, I think, would be an A tier. Attractive and could kick gas. Maybe not top tier, but I think she holds up well. Wait, that's Gia? Okay, now I'm mixing them up. Okay. Yeah, I thought this was Summer from RPM. This looks more like her. I'm sorry, I'm kind of mixing them up here now. They did not put this in order because Alien Ranger is down here, and so is Movie Trini. That's Gia. Okay, this is Gia from Megaforce. Yeah, she'll also go into Absolute Trash. Yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of mixed up the actresses. Alright, Gia will be in Absolute Trash because Megaforce sucks. I think this one might be Emily then. You would probably like Jungle Fury. Okay, thanks, Emily. I meant to say S tier. That's Gia. Okay, this is Gia from Megaforce. Gia Moron. Appropriate name. Okay, people keep telling me, which is Summer, which is Gia, which is Emily. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm kind of mixing them up. I think this chick, the third one here, has to be Summer. I thought it was Summer from RPM, but people are telling me this might be Summer or Gia, the first one here on the row. Screw it, we'll knock off somebody I actually recognize. Alright, Yellow Alien Ranger. He's going on to D. Yeah, we finally got a D one. No disrespect towards the Alien Rangers, but I don't remember this guy doing all that much. The Red Alien Ranger and the Pink Alien Ranger felt like the ones that got the most spotlight. These are the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, who were briefly a part of the Mighty Morphin era, and I do believe parts of Zeo. I don't remember this guy. I have not seen Zeo at all, so most of my perspective comes from Mighty Morphin. I don't remember this guy doing much. He was basically a background character to fill all the main 5 Rangers. That's Gia. Okay, is this Summer? Okay, it is in the right order. Okay, if this is Summer, she's going on to S tier then. Alright, I'll put Summer in between Trini and Kira. Summer from Power Rangers RPM, Get in Gear. Now, I really love Summer. This Ranger actually did grow on me. I kind of wish she got a lot more spotlight, but the main characters were pretty much Dylan and Tania 7. So, if you don't know, Summer is the RPM Ranger, and she's kind of the heart of the team. She's, of course, the nice girl, the caring one, the friendly, free-spirited one of her Ranger team. She's not the only female on the team once we meet Dr. K in person, but Summer, she was hot, she was kick-ass, she was fun-loving, and she's basically another car ranger, but a much better one than stupid-ass Ronnie. Okay, the first one is Summer. This is Emily, okay. And this is Gia. Okay, I mixed them up. I thought this was Summer for sure. My mistake. I apologize. I kind of mixed up the 3 blonde girls in a row, so my error. Anyway, Summer, of course she's gone on to S tier. Her Spotlight episode is easily one of the best of the bunch, where we find out Summer actually used to be a spoiled brat as a child. Summer wasn't always the nice girl we meet in the present day. Summer used to be a spoiled brat. She was kind of the Paris Hilton of Power Rangers. She was a spoiled, pampered, rich girl, never worked a day in her life, treated her butler Andrews like garbage, was just as bad as her parents, an elitist prick. She surrounded herself by a bunch of superfluous mean girl friends. Then the apocalypse happened and all of that changed. I can recognize Summer via her leather jacket. Well, this girl's also wearing a leather jacket, so that's why I kind of thought it was Summer. Summer is from RPM because RPM came after Operation Overdrive. BRB. Okay, see ya, Emily. Alright, thanks guys for fixing that in chat. Anyways, like, who doesn't love Summer? She's fun, she's kick-ass, and undergoes a surprisingly amount of deep character development. Summer changed her ways once Venjix struck. Once Venjix and the machines destroyed the Earth, it really opened Summer's eyes. She was forced to grow up, mature, and see the world, and her entire worldview was completely different from here on out. Her parents were never in her life, even on her birthday party. Her birthday party was in ruins, and her rich bitch mean girl friends basically left her for dead. Like, one of them actually pushed her out of a refugee escape vehicle, and Summer was completely abandoned by all these rich elitist jackasses. She was saved by the one person always in her life, the butler, Andrews. Andrews comes by in like a FedEx truck and helps save his missus, and she starts to mature and become nicer, realizes that she treated her butler like crap even though he's saving her life, and looks up to him as kind of the true parent figure she needed. Her butler actually protects her and sacrifices his life protecting her because he wants to see the kind of person Summer truly is. Like, what's her identity? What is she like without all these other people influencing her? Because Andrews believed that Summer could amount to something greater than her parents are deep down, and it's why he stuck around so long, to the point of sacrificing his life saving her from those evil machines. And through Andrews' death, it completely changed Summer. Summer realized that she wanted to be a good person, that she wanted to do noble stuff, that she wanted to be a hero just like the man who saved her. Summer lost the only person she ever cared about, who treated her like family. Then when she gets to the safe zone, the Dome City of Corinth, she completely ditches her parents to go back and save some downed soldiers because it's what her father figure would have done. Summer is great, her parents not so much, fully agree. The death of Summer's butler really changed her. Yeah, that's what I really liked about her. Summer, I'm kind of shocked because basically she's the standard typical nice girly girl of the bunch. She's the heart, she's the moral compass, she's compassionate, she gets a romance with Dylan, she falls for his smooth bad boy charms. Summer in present day is kind of in a love triangle between the Red Ranger, I'm trying to remember his name, it's not Jack, I kept mistaking him for that. But yeah, the RPM Red Ranger and Dylan are both kind of her crushes, and she's trying to choose whether she wants the cool, nice guy or the smooth bad boy. At least her parents came around in the end. Yeah, unfortunately, they never came back to show that they were changed, but her parents are kind of douches throughout most of the two-parter, so it kind of made their redemption arc harder to buy, basically. It would have been nice if there was like a finale, they were helping refugees escape from Venjix, but that didn't happen. So, I love that Summer actually used to be a bitch. She was like a mean girl, a total Regina George back in her past, and it is really night and day how different she is as an RPM Ranger and how she was before the apocalypse happened. So Summer underwent some very serious character development. The only problem is that was kind of her main focus. Summer is the only character who finishes her arc very early. She is better off than where she was in the beginning. She underwent a lot of maturity and knows who she is now. And basically she spends the rest of RPM kind of being in a love triangle between Dylan and RPM Red Ranger, and it is still pretty cute and adorable. She, of course, eventually chooses Dylan because Dylan is practically the real main protagonist. Idea for a future video, top 5 Lost Galaxy episodes, since I believe that's your favorite season. I might do that. I love Lost Galaxy. Hey everyone, I'm just tuning in now. Oh hey, Cammy Thompson, glad you made it. RPM Red is Scott. Okay, thank you, Moonwing. Scott. I keep mixing him up with Jack because they're both the cool black guy Red Rangers. Okay, yeah, only got like 6 characters left. But anyways, Summer I really liked. She hooks up with Dylan, and Dylan is a lucky bastard because he explores the new world without Venjix with 2 sexy ladies. Tanaya and Summer basically both bunk with him. Don't worry, Tanaya is Dylan's sister, so hopefully there's no shipping together. Yeah, Tanaya 7, way hotter. Oh, that reminds me, her best moment, fighting Summer in like a sexy, radiant wedding dress. Yeah, Summer has a wedding where her parents are basically guilting her into marrying this douchey rich guy to save their family fortune, and get to see Summer have a sexy cat fight with Tanaya 7, and it is peak television, seeing a sexy, leather-clad femme fatale android girl fighting the Yellow Ranger in a radiant wedding dress. Yeah, Summer looked pretty hot in that. It was pretty much a highlight of the season. Okay, might do Lost Galaxy top 5 in the future. Anyways, Summer's going on to S. She's one of the peak Yellow Rangers for sure. I was surprised at how good RPM is. Will apologize for thinking that SPD was the last good Power Ranger season because RPM totally blew the others out of the way. It was much better, much more mature, and had some of the greatest characters of the franchise, so I will agree RPM is the true last good Power Ranger season, and of course it had one of the last great Golden Yellow Rangers in Summer, who is S tier. Okay, now I think we're on Emily from Samurai, and Emily is going into trash. Might put her above Ronnie, that's for sure, because I hate Overdrive that much. So this is Emily. She was not supposed to be the Yellow Samurai Ranger. The powers got passed on to her by her sister. Her sister fell prey to this disease which knocked her out of commission, and Emily took up her sword. Emily is implied to suffer from depression and has a lot of insecurities, but it's not very explored. It doesn't really go anywhere. That was kind of the problem. Samurai had characters who could have amounted to something great, but all fell kind of flat because I guess they were afraid to challenge kids with deep character arcs. The guy Summer was supposed to marry never really came off as douchey. Vain, but not douchey. Well, they said the same thing about Gaston, Ira. So, Samurai Yellow is like Lost Galaxy Red. Yeah, except Leo was a well-defined character who grew up throughout his show. Well, Emily was there. Emily could have been a very great character, but unfortunately she doesn't go through a lot of character development. I think most of the Samurai characters didn't amount to much. Samurai is a lot more child-friendly. Nickelodeon keeps trying to recapture the glory days of Mighty Morphin, and unfortunately they kept trying to make every show a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers knockoff. Yeah, it's because the creator wants the show to be the Sentai to be English, but Samurais fail. Okay, V Scorpio, did not know that. Emily suffers from depression, and she could have been something. It's implied she's jealous of her sister, even though she is kind of pretty too. She's the one that has self-doubt, is self-conscious, doesn't think she's as great as she really is, and isn't as motivated, but they don't really explore it. Basically, her friends just tell her that they're there for her and she's better than she thinks she is, and that's the end of her depression. Yeah, great character building. Total trash. Speaking of trash, I guess we should also put Gia down here. Yeah, this is Gia Moran, I believe. Gia is from Megaforce, and as we all know, Megaforce is not a good show. Okay, so once again, I did not actually watch Megaforce outside of Linkara's history of Power Rangers, and Gia feels like she didn't really do anything. Megaforce is one of the most infamously despised Power Ranger seasons ever. Whichever, Megaforce or Super Megaforce, which is supposed to be like a milestone show celebrating 20 years of Power Rangers, and they barely do anything with it. The guest star Rangers are horribly underutilized, and Zordon apparently had this pupil who was nowhere to be seen in the past 20 years. Fun fact, Gia was going to be the Yellow Ranger, but was switched in Samurai. Okay. I kind of like Gia, at least her romance with the Black Ranger. You would like it. You would like her, Ira. You defend Justin, who's one of the worst Rangers ever. Okay, so Gia's just kind of underdeveloped, but because she's a part of Megaforce, which is one of the worst shows, is why we're tossing her in the trash heap. Yeah, not very good Yellow Ranger. She's pretty, though, but Megaforce is not a good show, and a part of the reason is the Rangers are not given very good character development. Special mention going to Troy, who's one of the worst Red Rangers ever, but Gia, she's also pretty trashy. Next up is Calvin from Ninja Steel, and I know nothing about Ninja Steel, so Calvin is going down here. So, what are your thoughts on Calvin? Once again, we have another male Yellow Ranger. Ninja Steel, all my friends tell me to skip it because it's bad. I've never watched it in my life, so he's one I have barely any knowledge on. I haven't even watched Linkara's History of Power Rangers on this show yet, so I don't really have much thoughts on Calvin. I guess good for them for bringing back a male Yellow Ranger, but what are your thoughts? I can't really say my thoughts on him, so he's going on an unknown. Never cared for Ninja Steel. Yeah, Moonwing, you told me that. You and Naquane Green told me Ninja Steel was garbage, so I believe his word because he's been pretty right about a lot of stuff. So, no thoughts on Ninja Steel. Never watched it. I heard it's just an easily skippable Ranger show. Though I will say that the Megaforce Rangers were made too OP, which is why I called them the John Cena Rangers. Alright, so speaking of which, I also have to dump Zoe from Beast Morphers onto Unknown. I've never watched Beast Morphers outside of all the clips where Evox brags that he's Venjix. I never saw Beast Morphers. I saw the few clips and the theme song, that's it. Yeah, I saw the Beast Morphers theme song, and honestly, it did not attract me. It looked like Power Rangers kind of regressed in this season. Like, after all the great Power Ranger shows, this one feels like it took steps back. I heard Beast Morphers is another attempt to be like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with the more sillier stories, and all I know is that Venjix came back and he's really Evox, and I only saw clips of him. I don't have enough to confirm my thoughts on this Yellow Ranger. From what I heard, there was going to be a romance where the Yellow and White Rangers break up and Pink becoming his new girlfriend, but the female voice actors stated they don't like it. Well, they're not the writers. After RPM, I only cared for Dino Charge. Also, Nickelodeon needs to stop with the nostalgia bait. Yeah, they do. Nickelodeon just kept making a lot of wannabe Mighty Morphin shows. So I have no thoughts on Zoe because I have not watched Beast Morphers at all outside of the Evox's Venjix clips. Yeah, I watched for Evox because I needed clips for my scariest Power Ranger villains, and I thought it was pretty cool that they finally ended the Venjix subplot where he was clearly alive at the end of RPM, but they never made a sequel or a movie. But don't worry, I do recognize these two, so we will end on a high note at least. Alright, so let's talk about the 2017 Power Rangers reboot, Trini. Yes, this ugly-ass Bow Wow is remake Trini, and she's going on to trash. I hated this Trini. Like, look at this beautiful, badass girl up top. This chick is supposed to be this chick in the remake movie, and they bastardize one of the hottest Power Ranger girls ever, both in terms of character and the way she looks. I mean, would you ever look at this thing and think she was supposed to be this beautiful angel up here? So, unfortunately, I do know a lot about the god-awful Mighty Morphin Power Rangers remake movie. This was the Michael Bay reboot movie where they tried to make Power Rangers in the modern time for a modern audience, and this hideous thing is supposed to be the new age Trini. Why was Becky G Trini? I have no idea. The sad thing is, Becky G is actually pretty in real life, so they had to make her this ugly on purpose. For starters, this Trini looks like a guy. It looks like a guy straight out of the ghetto, basically, and she's supposed to be this awesome girl up here, the angelic beauty that is Twee Trong. Yeah, bull crap. Bull crap. Man, Beast Morphers was the final season of Yellow Rangers, MS. Yeah, that is kind of sad. Beast Morphers had the last Yellow Ranger so far. I think Once and Always had a Yellow Ranger. I know it had a Pink Ranger, but they're not on this tier list, so screw it. Anyways, remake Trini, god-awful. A complete and total dark, gritty bastardization of a once great character. In the original, Trini's a fun-loving, girly girl. She has a tomboy streak, but she's caring, she's friendly, very pretty, and is basically best friends with Kimberly. In the remake, she's a downer, former drug addict, struggling lesbian who is undergoing some angsty teen drama. Gio wore the same outfit in every Megaforce episode. In other words, a watered-down Maya, plus with a worse supporting cast of Rangers. Yeah, I heard Megaforce was pretty bad. Anyways, Trini, this one, she's basically going through teen angst. The Rangers are all kind of angsty, whiny emo kids in this version. Billy is a nerd who's always bullied. Jason is an out-of-control bad boy who can't control his temper. Kimberly is just a bitch. I hated what they did to Kimberly in the Mighty Morphin movie too. Like, Kimberly, she's an awful cyber bully, a complete hypocrite, and a total mean girl. Trini is basically a punk. She's an outcast punk. It's implied she used to do drugs, and she undergoes this arc where she's trying to find out that she, like, her sexual identity. That Trini is a lesbian, learning that she's a lesbian. And can I just ask, was there anyone who wanted that as a subplot in a Power Rangers movie aimed at kids? Like, really, this franchise that's been predominantly aimed at little boys wants to make one of the token hot girls into an angsty lesbian undergoing her sexual discovery? Like, thanks, reboot. Thanks a lot. Unpopular opinion, I enjoyed the 2017 movie. I wish they made a sequel movie right after, because when the teacher was taking role, he said Tommy Oliver's name. Yeah, I know Tommy Oliver was going to be introduced, and it wouldn't surprise me if they made him a gay, non-binary twink. At least Megaforce are not jerks like the Overdrive Rangers. Yeah, that's why she's above Ronnie. Movie Trini wasn't good, but I honestly don't blame Becky G. Yeah, I don't blame her either. I don't blame any of the actors. I'm more pissed off at the writers and the costumes and makeup department for making Trini fugly. Yeah, Trini has a troubled home life. I think she's supposed to be Asian, but they kind of made her look more black, even giving her the racist wave haircut. Yeah, they gave Trini that stupid shaved side head, that haircut we all know and hate from modern entertainment. And it's implied that Trini had like a lesbian crush on Kimberly, because if you ever looked at Kimberly and Trini and think, oh yeah, they were totally lesbians, and I don't want them hooking up because they're both pretty awful. Apparently Trini and Kimberly have an odd friendship in the movie. Basically, Kimberly's the bitch stuck up popular girl, Trini's the badass punk girl. She's the bad girl on the wrong side of the tracks, basically the Chloe Price to Kimberly's Regina George. Even the Megaforce Rangers never quit and wanted to be heroes, red flags aside. Kimberly is Jasmine from the Aladdin remake and one of the kids from Disney's Lemonade Mouth. Yeah, that I heard, but I didn't recognize her. She also does not look like Jasmine, which is very weird. Anyways, Trini basically finds herself through the Power Rangers. I do not like the 2017 Power Rangers movie, mostly because it's very mean-spirited, angsty, depressing, and all the Rangers and heroes are kind of dicks. Like, I don't like most of the heroes. I guess Jason is the one that has the most going for him. Billy is at least sympathetic, but didn't get much to do, and they kind of race-bent Zach. I think Zach and Adam are kind of the same character now. And yeah, they tried to get this look-alike for Johnny Young Bosch to play quote-unquote Zach/Adam, and it didn't really convince me. Also, Zordon is played by Walter White himself, Bryan Cranston, and he's also kind of a dick. Zordon's kind of depressing and more mean-spirited in guiding the Rangers. I did not like the movie because of how nasty it is. Power Rangers is kind of over-the-top, campy, corny children's fun, but the movie wanted to make a darker and edgier Rangers, and as everyone memed back then, it was kind of if Zack Snyder made the Rangers. Anyways, Trini basically wraps up her character arc, accepting the other Rangers as friends, and they're on their way to becoming the Power Rangers we know from Mighty Morphin All Too Well. And I guess Trini was supposed to have an ending where she accepts herself as a lesbian, but you don't really care, because you don't really like her. Trini is awful. She is the worst Yellow Ranger on this list, bar none. Absolute trash, just like her movie. She's going on rock bottom. But let's end this on a high note with our last Yellow Ranger, Psycho Yellow. Yep, she made it on this list, and Psycho Yellow going on to S tier. Yeah, I added her, and of course she's going on here. Psycho Yellow's badass. This is the yellow Psycho Ranger from Power Rangers in Space, an evil double who was made to assassinate her Yellow Ranger counterpart, Ashley, and really love the Psycho Rangers. All the Psycho Rangers are awesome. They made it on one of my list videos if you haven't watched, and of course Psycho Yellow belongs up here on S tier. Yes, I will put her in front of Kira just to piss off the fanboys and fangirls. Becky G deserved better. Didn't mention it earlier, but Ashley was my first Ranger crush. I remember you mentioned that on my main video, the hottest Power Ranger babes. Is it me or is Psycho Yellow kinda hot? Yeah, that armor is pretty sexy. I didn't take a picture of human Psycho Yellow because I didn't think people would recognize her, but Psycho Yellow really like her. Apparently the yellow Psycho Ranger also played the mermaid Chad fell in love with on Lightspeed Rescue, so she actually is pretty hot under that armor. So if you don't know, the Psycho Rangers were constructed by Astronema and Dark Spectre to assassinate the Space Rangers. They formed the ultimate enemy, Evil Power Rangers. Evil Power Rangers who are psychotic assassins who dedicated their entire existence to killing Rangers. And of course, Psycho Yellow was the archenemy to every Yellow Ranger. She tried to kill Ashley and would later try to kill Maya, the best Yellow Ranger. So, Psycho Yellow, if you're curious, the Psycho Rangers did have their own independent personalities. They did have character, they did have traits that made them stand out. And Psycho Yellow, she was the schemer. She was the evil genius of their team. She was the backstabbing bitch. She's the one who formed these complex plans to kill the Power Rangers, and actually was the first to break away from Astronema's command. She basically, like, Astronema told her to follow orders, and Psycho Yellow decides she's gonna do her own plan, and she teams up with Psycho Pink, only manipulating Pink into serving for her own endgame, showing that the Psycho Rangers did have their own identity and independence. Sorry, just getting some water. So, Psycho Yellow and Psycho Pink get a spotlight focus in, ironically, the same spotlight episode for Ashley and Cassie. Ashley and Cassie have a friendship fallout, and Psycho Yellow and Pink got a lot of character here because they were both friends. A lot of fans like to tease that they were a lesbian couple, which I can kinda see, but yeah, apparently Psycho Yellow and Pink also had a friendship fallout because Psycho Yellow was just using Pink to capture the Yellow Ranger for herself and had no intent of capturing Cassie too. They took Ashley to basically this private area, has her in a cage, and Psycho Yellow is very intimidating here, very threatening, draining Ashley of her power, but Psycho Pink interferes and they have their own bitch fight. Psycho Yellow proves to be a lot smarter than she looks, because she can also transform into electricity. Her powers are she can turn into like an electric bee, basically. She's like this evil queen bee monster. She can hack friggin' Megazords, so she is a huge threat. She has electric powers, and like the other Psychos, she can shapeshift. She once shapeshifted into like a helpless old lady to lure in Ashley, and shot at her. The Psycho Rangers can actually transform into things, which made them a lot more lethal as assassins. So, as you know, that episode pretty much ended with Psycho Pink losing. Psycho Yellow was so badass that she could actually survive an explosion. Ashley tricked Psycho Pink into blowing up the building they were at. Yellow managed to escape unharmed, but Psycho Pink pretty much took the brunt of the explosion and goes completely mad and psychotic. And yeah, Psycho Yellow pretty much weaseled out of it and got away with it. And Psycho Pink died for Psycho Yellow's scheme to succeed. And yeah, it did kind of prove that Yellow was definitely a brilliant mastermind. She was smarter than the other Psychos. She can control herself. She can form these complex plans against the Power Rangers. In the next episode, where Psycho Blue has gone nuts trying to kill TJ, the Power Rangers disguise themselves as all Blue Rangers, and Psycho Yellow is actually the only one that sees through the deception, so she decides to stand aside. Yeah, Psycho Yellow, I like her. She's very briefly in this episode, but she's overlooking them fighting all the Blue Ranger clones, and she decides she's gonna step back and stay out of this one, waiting for the Yellow Ranger to reveal herself, and Psycho Yellow does not take in the fight that those stupid boys partake in. Then eventually, in the finale for the Psycho Rangers arc, we do see human Psycho Rangers, but only red, yellow, and black. Yeah, red, yellow, and black actually have human forms, and we get to see their voice actors, and yeah, Psycho Yellow's actress is very pretty. Apparently so pretty that she came back as a mermaid, the one that dated Chad Marina in Lightspeed Rescue. So, Psycho Yellow actually has a brilliant plan. They detect them by the sound of their voices because they have voice recognition ID programmed into them. They almost succeed at catching Cassie, but are duped by the Rangers. Then they abduct their Megazords, and Psycho Yellow can actually hack into them. She takes over one of the Megazords. I remember she took over like the most powerful one. They left a trap for the Space Rangers, and Psycho Yellow nearly succeeds, but Psycho Red completely loses his mind and accidentally knocks her out of it, leading to their final fight where all the Psycho Rangers are killed when the Rangers are finally united and outmaneuvering against them. Then she kind of just comes back in their crossovers. They all come back from the dead. Psycho Yellow is basically with the Psychos. They're all pretty much together by this point. They come back as ghosts, fight the Rangers in Secret City, then they get resurrected by Deviant and Trakina, nearly killing the Galaxy Rangers, and Psycho Yellow's last big major moment in Ranger history, fighting Ashley and Maya, two of the sexiest Yellow Rangers, basically kill her for good, and it is a fun crossover. To the 10th power will easily be on S tier of Ranger crossovers. And Psycho Yellow, yeah, she's gone to S tier because the Psycho Rangers are awesome, and she definitely stands out amongst the 5 psychopaths. So yeah, Psycho Yellow, she is on S tier, and I'm sorry Ashley fans, but she does outrank her due to her villainous gravitas. But as you can see, that pretty much completes our tier list. Take one last picture if you haven't seen them all. We've ranked all the Yellow Rangers by far, except for whoever was the yellow one in Once and Always a Power Ranger. Yeah, I've never seen it. It's too new and I don't have Netflix. But yeah, these are all my favorite yellows, and we did have a lot of S and A tier over the garbage ones. So we'll go over it for any of you newbies showing up late in the game, any late birds. One last time, I'll scroll over all of them and tell you who goes where. Once and Always was the daughter of Trini. Okay, that was her. Okay, so I don't recognize these 3 Rangers. The question marks is ones I don't know, and one of them is Calvin from Ninja Steel. I know the Jungle Fury Lily is also on here, and Zoe from Beast Morphers. I just haven't watched these Power Ranger shows. I've completely checked out by this point, so I know nothing about them. But total trash. Easily the worst Yellow Ranger. Remake Trini. I'm sorry, Becky G fans, but this character is just awful. They ruined one of my favorite girls ever. Trini is not good in this movie, and Becky G, even though she tries, this is one of the worst Yellow Rangers of all time. She is rock bottom. But following her is Ronnie, the race car driver from Overdrive, and Emily and Gia from 2 Power Ranger shows that suck. Okay, it was Trini's daughter, so I have a question. Who's the father, then? Like, who did Trini hook up with during the Power Rangers? Is it Zach? I wouldn't be surprised if it was Zach. But anyways, yeah. Gia, Emily, Ronnie, and Remake Trini, these are the trash Yellows. Don't even bother watching their shows or movies. They are the worst representation of the yellow armor. Then in D, we have Yellow Alien Ranger. He's technically the first guy Yellow Ranger, but he's a part of those Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and unfortunately he didn't get to do much. The Alien Red and Pink were more or less the main characters of the Alien Rangers, so he's gone on to D because he's basically a glorified background character. Then in C, our okay Yellows. We have Chip from Mystic Force, the comic geek. He had his funny moments. We had Dustin, annoying comic relief. Dustin was completely overshadowed by way cooler Ninja Storm Rangers. Then we have Taylor, who made it on high C, but still C nonetheless. I just don't care for Taylor. She is not one of my favorite Rangers. I don't get what fans see about her. Really wish they went full on with that Carol Danvers as a Power Ranger angle, but they didn't, so she's kind of forgettable. She's gone on to C. Then B, we have Tanya. Oh, Tanya, you could have been so cool, but ended up barely doing anything, and before you even knew it, she got replaced by Ashley partway in through Turbo, so she's going on B for being basic. No, Zach adopted her after what happened to Trini. Oh, okay, that did happen. Alright. Then finally, A tier, our top 10 Yellows. We have Aisha. She's pretty likable. She's adorable. She's alright. She was no Trini, that's for sure, but I think Aisha was pretty fun. Then we have Kelsey. Really love her. She is the Wasp of the Rescue Rangers. She's the fun-loving, athletic goofball, and Kelsey was one of the last favorite Yellows of mine I had for a while, so I will put her on A and defend that she is awesome. Ashley. Oh, I know a lot of people would have wanted her to be on S, but unfortunately I have to remind people that Turbo happened, and Ashley didn't get to do much on Turbo. In Space fully redeemed her. I understand people crush on her. Ashley is pretty, she's cute, she's adorable, she's the girl next door, but also a very kick-ass warrior. Her and Andros have the best Power Ranger relationship before Wes and Jen came along, but I think Ashley is awesome. Speaking of which, Katie, I've had a crush on Katie for a long time. Once again, I do think Yellow Rangers had a lot more prettier faces than Pink Rangers, but Katie is underrated. She made it on my top 6 hottest Ranger babes. She's basically She-Hulk as a Power Ranger, so how can you not love that? I think she's awesome, but she doesn't make it to S just because she was neglected screen time. Hey Kat, I'm here, and what I miss, my friend. Hey Christopher, we're kind of on the final wrap-up. We're now on the top 6 S tier of the Yellow Rangers. Who is the best of the best? These 6 ladies. We have Z, underrated Power Ranger. Z's likable, fun, lighthearted, charismatic, and very caring. I do like how Z is basically a nice girl and far nicer than Sid in every way, so she'll get the credit she deserves. She's going on S tier. We have Kira, fan favorite Yellow Ranger. Yeah, how could she not be? Everyone loves Kira. She's cool, she's feisty, she's fun, she's outspoken, she's super hot, and she's a very talented singer, so who doesn't like her? Kira is basically Black Canary as a Power Ranger, so that automatically makes her S tier. R.I.P. to the actress that played Trini. Love the tribute to her in Power Rangers Once and Always. Yeah, unfortunately I never watched that, so I don't have much to comment on. Then we have Psycho Yellow. The Psycho Rangers are awesome, so of course the Yellow Psycho would be high up here. I really like her performance. She is a fun villain, and the Psycho Rangers are in general badass villains, so even when they stand alone, they're still pretty great characters. But the top 3, Summer from RPM. Summer actually surprised me with how great she was. Summer undergoes a lot of maturity, a lot of great character development, and is one of the coolest Yellow Rangers ever. RPM is a great show. I regret not watching it back when it was on TV, and I could definitely agree that Summer is hot, badass, and one of the greatest Yellow Rangers ever. Hope she and Dylan help repopulate the human race. But our top 2, Trini from Mighty Morphin. Yeah, of course, she's pretty, she's a beautiful, really like her spunky attitude. She and Kimberly were basically the hottest girls of every 90s kid's childhood. Trini is a legend. I really wish Tweetron got to stick around more in future Power Ranger seasons, but unfortunately that money debacle always ruins the fun. Nevertheless, Trini will go down as one of the greatest Power Rangers of all time. She is S tier, and yes, I do think she is just as hot as Kimberly. Then, number 1, Maya, the Jungle Princess, because if you've kept up with my channel, you know how I feel about her. Maya is my Power Ranger crush, but not only that, she is one of the greatest Yellow Rangers of all time. Alien jungle princess, she kicks ass, she talks to animals, she has jungle warrior skills that help her parkour around trees, had some of the greatest episodes of Lost Galaxy, and Serena Vincent for the longest time was my Power Ranger crush. She also played the best character on Not Another Teen Movie, which yes, I will always remind you. R.I.P. Trini. Sorry that was late to another tier list, but another good tier list, man. Looking forward to another one. Bye for now, Kat. Thanks, Christopher. But yeah, Maya is easily the number 1 Yellow Ranger. She is the best, and I don't think she has been outclassed by any yet. So Maya will go down as not just my favorite Ranger crush, but easily the number 1 Yellow because of all her great character moments and how she stood out amongst the rest of generic Yellow Rangers down below. So Maya's number 1, and remake Trini is 0. She is a loser. Don't like this Trini. But yeah, that pretty much completes my tier list. Take one last snapshot if you missed. I know we had a much bigger one this time, but what can I say? Had a lot of great yellows, and had some I don't recognize or just plain hated. So we might do another colored Ranger tier list. I know people want red, but some people requested blue and black, and maybe even green. So Emily, if you're watching, Trip might make it to S tier for that one. So Anyways, that completes my tier list. I'm not sure what we'll do for the next one. I'm trying to work with a partner to get the Elm Street tier list finally up. I am having a guest star for that tier list, so that one's definitely in the making. But for now, thanks for joining me on this yellow tier list. I hope it was a short one this time, but hey, we have fun. These are my favorite yellow babes, so of course I wanted to talk positive about them. But don't worry guys, thanks for joining us. I'll set you free now. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I wish you a yellow day, fella.